Hello and welcome. I am Sandra Pollock, and thank you so much for joining me. Today, I am doing number one of my round of short, sharp chats with friends, old and new. I love to talk to people, you know that. So, what is the purpose of this round? Well, this round we are celebrating International Women's Day. I know it's on the 8th and we're doing this before the 8th, but it's pretty much becoming an International Women's Month, certainly here in the UK, and I know in other places as well. Because there's so much to celebrate, there's so much to talk about, and there's no way that we can cram everything into one day. That would be like everybody be up for 24 hours and beyond. So it stretches. So today I have a guest. You can see her, Indy Samra. Indy Samra is a mum, an author, and as I put in a little information that I put out, an all-round fun person. And we met, probably a couple of years, well, at least a year ago. We met through our writing journey. So I have invited Indy to join me to talk about International Women's Day. This year's theme is Break the Bias. And I thought from the perspective of us being authors, and authorship, in my opinion, is about getting your voice out there. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, Indy, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Sandra. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So I've given a little bit of an introduction on you, Indy, but, how would you introduce yourself?
Pretty much how you did, Sandra. Fun, a mom, British, second generation British Asian, Punjabi heritage. You've really put me on the spot there now. So yeah, how would I describe myself or introduce myself? Yeah, pretty much how you did it, but with the second generation British Asian, and to narrow that down further, Punjabi.
Yeah. And why are those elements? Might sound a silly question, but why are those elements important to you?
Because it makes up who I am. All those elements, a mum, fun, Punjabi heritage, second generation British Asian. They're all parts of the jigsaw that put me together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've enjoyed your sharing with me and, in the groups that we're involved with, all of the elements of that. So tell me, we met around writing. And I know that's an important aspect to you. Tell me a little about your journey in writing and becoming a published author now.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to say credit goes to yourself and to Sonia for who put on the creative writing course during a real difficult time for women and women in Leicester. Initially, I'm one of those people that's very open, and I saw the opportunity and I thought, okay, let's give this a go. Didn't have any expectations. But my goodness, was I blown away. And have I kind of taken that torch, and I feel I'm running with it of being a writer and enjoying creative writing. I think initially I thought, my thought process was, well, who's going to be interested in what I've got to say about my stories or my memoirs or where I'm from and who I am? So but my feelings have now changed from what they initially were, because of the feedback and the responses that I've had from people reading my work and commenting, oh yeah, I can relate to Bhangra Queen. Oh yeah, that song that you wrote about, yeah, that was one of my favorites too. Or perhaps even with people who quite didn't understand, looking at Bhangra Queen, the Bhangra music scene in the late 80s and early 90s, they'd heard of it and all these kids bunking off school to go to Bhangra gigs. But what was it about? So it's broadened their knowledge on that as well. So, that's what it was like then. That's why these kids wanted to go.
Yeah.
be a part of that. So
That's wonderful. So parents getting a view in the life of their teenage daughters or sons or whatever
yeah,
in that time. So just to give some background, so what you're talking about really is that myself and Sonia Thompson put on a series of programs to support women from the African, Caribbean, and Asian communities in Leicester. And anybody who doesn't know, Leicester was the most locked down city in the UK at the time. And so we wanted to do something to help with women's well-being. And a part of that program was a creative writing series of workshops. And we invited women who had never seen themselves or thought about writing. And that's really what you're talking about, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
hit the nail
And
on the head.
yeah, so a part of why we sort of did that as well, and for this particular audience, was because, in my experience, in my opinion, the lives, the stories, the interests of women from, African Caribbean or Asian communities, and other non-white communities don't always or don't get the airtime. That's my experience. What are your thoughts, Indy?
Well, to be honest, apart from the odd few Asian authors out there, and the same with the Black authors, there wasn't really anything that was hitting you in the face of, oh, this person in London is doing this, or this person in Birmingham's doing this. So since I've now become a published author, I'm now seeing filtering through a lot more Black and Asian women writers that are getting their work out there, and I'm actually investing in their books to have a look and think, and buying them and reading them and thinking, yeah, this is great to see that other people, especially women, are doing this. And it's just it is a bit of a shame that it's hunting for it. So
Mm.
in your search engines, British Asian women authors,
Yeah.
Black British authors, it's not so much in your face,
Hmm.
so
So
to speak.
yeah, thank you for that. So the theme for this year's International Women's Day is break the bias. So what are your comments around break the bias? What biases um, have you encountered? And I know that could be, we could be here a very long time, but
Yeah.
around sort of your voice and similar things, what biases do you think we need still to be breaking? And the second part of that question would be how?
I think there's still a little bit of stigma around um, Asian authors. Oh, let's write about arranged marriages. We're a little bit more than that.
Mhm.
We've got more stories to tell. Don't get me wrong, yeah, it's a big part of who we are, and part of our culture. However, it's not the main focus. There's lots of other things that we can talk about and write about. So, you know, I think, in my opinion, because of the writing market, because of doing a little bit of research and hanging out with certain people, it's being highlighted that the writing world is predominantly white and male dominated. So when submitting things to publishing companies, to be considered, you ain't even getting a reply back. Now I'm making the assumption that they're probably not getting what 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 my writing's about. So then what am I doing now? I'm now searching for somebody who does.
Yeah.
So it's about breaking the bias of being treated equally, getting rid of those stereotypes. Yeah, arranged marriages happen, forced marriages, whatever, but we're a bit more than that now as well. So and appreciating what we've got and what we're bringing to the table, and
Mm.
not being dismissed, or it's about being included and valued and celebrated. Our stories are to be celebrated, not dismissed.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've written quite a few stories in the anthology Create Together, um, and picking up on your point around there is more to you as an Asian woman, and there is more to the Asian community other than the typical things that people talk about. So just just tell us just a snippet of some of the you mentioned Bangra. So what other topics do you write about in the anthology?
I've in the anthology there's a memoir that I've written that's about about my dad. There's poetry that I've put in there about the farming protest which was taking place in India at the time. There's a poem I've written on that. Trying to think now what other stuff. There's quite a few. There's a
You haven't
children's
got the
story.
book. Usually I see you and you've
Usually,
got the book right always
I,
with you in your
I did
bag.
think about it and I thought Sandra will be like, she's there with that book again. Not that you've ever
Not
done
at
that, but I
all.
thought, no, I'll leave it to one side for today. I know,
I'm trying
ironically,
to
you
look
know
to
me
see. I
so
think
well.
I know you so well. I'm trying to look to see if I've got it on my shelf, which might be downstairs. Because similarly, I'm always no, I haven't got it. So we will anyhow. We'll tell people where to find it in a moment. So what else did you get to write about?
A children's story, a mindfulness children's story, which I absolutely loved. It's something that I've never done before, and I just thought, with the knowledge that I've got of being a children's yoga and mindfulness teacher, oh, let's try and put that into a children's story.
Yeah. And what's been the
So I've done
feedback on that?
the feedback has been really, really uplifting and positive from the children's story. It got passed around my children's school. Every year group read it. And the feedback I got was that it's such a lovely, uplifting story.
And what are you, because your children have also taken up that particular story, with vigor. What are their thoughts around it? I know you were telling me some stuff before.
Oh, they love it. They love the attention. Oh, my name's in the book. And even for World Book Day, me being me, I just said, kids, why don't you guys go as yourselves as the kind of superheroes in the story? My daughter jumped on it straight away. Yeah, brilliant idea, Mum. And my son just kind of looked at me and he just went, no. And so my daughter actually did go into school yesterday with a top that said kindness on it because the story's the kindness superheroes. And she actually took, for those that have read the book, that they'll know, but she actually even took a purple scarf, one of my purple scarves with her around her neck. And
Oh, wonderful.
she was just like, yep, I'm Mahi from the kindness superheroes.
So if we look at legacy and impacting on the next generation of girls and women, how would you say that what you have done in terms of stepping out, going for your dream of writing, and sharing that with your family, what do you see in terms of a possible legacy there?
I think I'm hoping that it'll inspire, others to write and to get their work published, and not to be disheartened when perhaps your work is dismissed, because there will be other places where it will be welcomed and celebrated and published. So I'm hoping that other people think, okay, Indy can do that, I'd like to do that as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for, and not to be put off by the gatekeepers of the white male dominant publishing houses, and there will be, and hopefully things are changing, as you know as well, Sandra, that there will be publishers that are run by women and are by black and Asian women that will just welcome what we've got to write and be like, yeah, let's do it, let's publish it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, so where can people find the book that you have not surprisingly got in front of you? But neither have I. I can't believe I've moved it from my office.
What are we like as a pair?
I know. I'm trying to think, where is it? I haven't got
So
it.
Create Together is available on Amazon and high street bookstores as well. And
Absolutely.
if you want, you can contact me and purchase a copy through me too.
Yeah. And the book has stories, poems, art or pictures of art that women from the African Caribbean and Asian communities of Leicester have written and produced and made. And you will be surprised, with the stories and the poems and the pieces of work that they shared and as they grew together during a difficult time. So I want to say a huge thank you to Indy Samra for joining me. Indy, a mum, an author from the Punjabi um, uh, culture and heritage, and a proud individual of her heritage. And what I'm excited about is that she is writing, stories, poems, and giving us the truth of what it is to grow up and to be a woman and a girl, because some of your stories go back to your teenage years in Leicester in the UK. So thank you so much. So Indy, don't disappear when we go
Okay.
off. You hold on back there. But thank you for joining us, and keep tuned because I have some other wonderful people who are going to join me throughout the month of March as we celebrate International Women's Day. And they're also going to join me as we talk about this year's theme, Break the Bias. We can all make a difference, and we are, even by listening to us here and getting involved here and allowing that to make you think differently is a part of the journey. I'm Sandra Pollock. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you at my next live drop in. Again, thank you, Indy, and see you all again soon. Take care.
Thanks.